Amidst China's halt on U.S. imports, what unfolds next could reshape global agriculture, presenting a pivotal juncture captured in this video. Delve into the repercussions of China's strategic shift away from U.S. corn, exploring its impact on international trade dynamics and the future of U.S. agriculture. How will this decision alter the landscape for farmers and markets alike? Stick with us until the end of this video to unravel the complexities and implications in this evolving narrative. In this pivotal moment for global agriculture, we dive deep into China's strategic pivot away from U.S. corn, a decision that is reshaping international trade dynamics and stirring the agricultural markets. Join us as we unpack the compelling reasons behind China's significant cutback in U.S. corn imports, which dropped by 27.3% in 2022, and explore how this shift is part of a larger effort to enhance domestic supply chains and mitigate geopolitical risks. Discover how Brazil has emerged as a key player, potentially overtaking the U.S. as a leading corn exporter due to its increased trade with China. But what does this mean for U.S. farmers, who are already grappling with trade disputes and market shifts? And looking forward, how does China's drive towards agricultural self-sufficiency through advanced farming techniques shape the future of global food security? We'll cover all this and more, providing a comprehensive view of the evolving landscape of international agriculture. Stay tuned as we explore these topics, delivering insights that could influence market strategies and national policies. China's imports of U.S. corn decreased by 27.3% year-on-year to 2.62 million tons, reflecting a broader strategy to reduce reliance on American agricultural products amidst growing geopolitical tensions and domestic supply chain strengthening efforts. Despite this decline, the U.S. remained China's largest agricultural export market in the financial year of 2022, with corn exports exceeding $4.8 billion. China has also been increasing imports from Brazil as part of its strategy to diversify its supply sources and enhance food security. For 2023, despite some increases in purchases early in the year, analysts anticipate a slowdown in China's U.S. corn imports in the later months due to high international prices and the availability of more competitively priced alternatives. As for 2024, the outlook depends on the new U.S. corn crops prices and trading conditions, but with ongoing efforts to diversify supply sources such as increased imports from Brazil, a continued decrease in reliance on U.S. corn seems likely. China's decision to reduce imports of U.S. corn has had significant economic implications. By opting for cheaper Brazilian corn, China canceled U.S. corn purchases, totaling 8,832,000 tons, which pressured U.S. corn futures and highlighted Brazil's competitive pricing, about $130 per ton cheaper. This shift not only affects the immediate market dynamics, but also impacts U.S. farmers by reducing their export opportunities, potentially leading to an oversupply within the U.S. and lower domestic corn prices. The long-term effects could include a need for U.S. agriculture to find alternative markets or to adjust production strategies to cope with decreased demand from China. During 2023, China actively diversified its corn imports, significantly amplifying its trade with Brazil. The process commenced early in the year, with expectations pointing to China's procurement of approximately 5 million metric tons of corn from Brazil throughout 2023. This move is part of China's broader strategy to diminish reliance on U.S. corn imports amidst escalating geopolitical tensions and supply disruptions from other key providers like Ukraine. Brazil is on the brink of substantially enlarging its role in the global corn market. Projections indicate that Brazil could export between 40 to 50 million metric tons of corn in the 2022-23 marketing year, buoyed by a fresh trade agreement with China. This considerable uptick in Brazilian corn exports is facilitated by China's approval of over 130 Brazilian corn export facilities, aimed at substituting some of the supplies previously imported from the U.S. and Ukraine. Looking forward to 2024, China's approach to corn imports is increasingly centered on diversification, with a significant portion of its supply anticipated to originate from Brazil and other nations, such as Argentina. Brazil's status as a primary supplier is becoming more entrenched, with forecasts suggesting it could fulfill a considerable portion of China's corn imports. This anticipated volume could exert a significant impact on global trade dynamics, positioning Brazil to potentially challenge or surpass the U.S. in corn exports. China's growing reliance on Brazilian corn stems from its efforts to reduce dependence on U.S. imports amid geopolitical strains. This shift is underscored by China's strategic partnerships and trade agreements with Brazil, which have been reinforced to ensure a steady supply of this vital agricultural commodity. Brazil's competitive pricing and favorable agricultural conditions, predicting a robust harvest, further bolster this trend. The decrease in Chinese purchases of U.S. corn could have substantial economic repercussions for U.S. farmers, particularly amidst existing trade disputes with other major corn purchasers like Mexico. Here are some pertinent figures and forecasts. China's transition to cheaper Brazilian corn imports has resulted in a noteworthy reduction in U.S. corn exports in 2023. China canceled significant quantities of U.S. corn purchases, impacting futures prices and spotlighting heightened competition from Brazil, which offers corn at approximately $130 per ton cheaper. The decline in exports to China exacerbates the challenges already confronting U.S. farmers due to trade tensions with Mexico over genetically modified corn. These disputes risk further contracting the export market for U.S. corn, potentially subjecting U.S. farmers to reduced prices and increased stock levels. The shift in China's import preferences doesn't just impact direct corn sales. It also has broader implications for agricultural economics in the U.S. Given the scale and importance of the Chinese market, any significant decrease in demand from China can have far-reaching effects on U.S. agricultural export revenues and may influence domestic market prices for corn and related agricultural products. China is actively working towards achieving agricultural self-sufficiency, with a specific focus on increasing corn production through modern agricultural practices. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs in China has set a target to maintain annual grain production above 650 million tons to ensure grain security, with specific objectives for corn and other staple crops outlined in its 5-year agricultural plan for 2021 to 2025. In the 2023 to 2024 period, China's corn production is estimated to experience a slight increase to 280 million tons. China's broader objective is to diminish reliance on imported corn, particularly from the U.S. Additionally, the Chinese government has emphasized the crucial role of local governments in achieving these targets, assigning them significant responsibilities to safeguard food security. This includes managing the size of farmland dedicated to grain production and meeting production targets. China faces challenges such as high land and labor costs, which are notably higher than in the U.S., impacting the cost-effectiveness of its agricultural output. However, China's strategies encompass improving seed quality, expanding genetically modified crop varieties, and enhancing agricultural infrastructure and technology. While China is progressing towards its goal of agricultural self-sufficiency, it still confronts substantial challenges that necessitate ongoing policy support and technological innovation. These efforts are pivotal as China strives to balance its domestic food production capabilities with its significant food import requirements. How do you envision the future of international trade in light of China's evolving import strategies? Feel free to share your thoughts and perspectives in the comments section below. Don't forget to join the Revel Discovery community by hitting that subscribe button to stay updated on the latest developments in global trade and economic strategies. Stay connected and informed with us for more insights into the world of international economics.